It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're joined now by Real Salt Lake head coach Pablo Mastroeni. Pablo, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Pablo, one game and then like 7 weeks off for the World Cup. You're not going to have to talk to us for a long period of time. You got to be looking forward to this.
Not really, DJ. I've realized that like this constant roller coaster of coaching keeps me sane. Actually, I think time off just makes idle hands are the devil's workshop, as they say. So
That's
I'm
dramatic.
not
my
looking
mother?
forward to so much time off.
You get 3 or 4 weeks at this point because you'll come back with some kind of mini training camp, even though you won't be playing games for 7 weeks. You're not really going away for 7 weeks.
Right. No, and the great thing is we've identified a few areas that are areas of concern, not concern as much as just areas that we need to improve on drastically. And so I think this break really allows us to kind of get in the weeds, hopefully, build upon what we've been able to do at the start of the campaign, but really be a little bit more detail oriented as to some of the areas where we can spend 3 or 4 weeks on improving before, the second half of the season is going to be, gauntlet as far as the amount of games and then obviously Leagues Cup. And so, it'll give us a time to kind of prepare for that.
I don't think you have an MLS home game until August, which seems crazy considering they were in May. But pretty much everybody's in the same boat as far as that goes. Do you see any advantage or disadvantage for RSL relative to what the other teams are doing?
To be fair, PK, I don't know everyone else's schedule. I just think that, one of the areas obviously is how we deal with away games and do a better job of getting results away from home. Obviously, we have a big test tomorrow against Minnesota, and that'd be a good, test run as to how we manage games the right way, attack the game the right way. And so, if our schedule is such that we don't have a lot of home games from now to August, then the onus is on us to really, control what we can, which is attacking these road games with the right type of mentality.
7-1 at home, spectacular, but only 4 points from the 5 road games. I heard that after the most recent win, which was at home, that the talk in the locker room turned immediately to taking that performance and transferring it to the road. And you always talk about coach-guided, player-led. Hearing those kind of comments, that's got to warm your heart.
Yeah, it really does. I think, again, like I've said from the beginning, this is a special group where, the video sessions are interactive. The talks after a really good performance against our biggest rivals lends itself to, like, how do we become a better team on the road? So this is a group that really is thinking big, but also putting the work in during where I feel like we can achieve some big things. And so, hearing that after that game, I chuckled to myself and I said, wow, this is pretty amazing. Because that's the same way I'm thinking. They're thinking like a coach. They're not thinking like players. And when you have that, that's a group that can lead themselves. So super proud of the guys.
Well, you look at the statistics, and this is a game that is ripe for the winning, and hopefully you guys get it because you got the 25 goals in 13 matches, a 7-goal differential. And Minnesota, 17 goals, but has allowed 21. So what do you think about getting an opportunity to get up 1-0, maybe even 2-0, because then that puts an enormous amount of pressure on Minnesota? Yeah,
so that's been the focus, PK. I think, in our away games, we've started – not sluggish, but we changed our approach to the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, which is at home, very vertical, threatening back lines, creating chances on goal. And then away from home, our last 2 performances in Dallas and LA have been where we're trying to keep possession of the ball in our half. And so, it's almost a psychological thing where I feel like we want to manage games from the start as far as like preserve our energy, but we don't ask any questions of our opponent's back line. And so I think, like you rightly pointed out, this is a group that, is trying to play from the back, has been a bit more expansive than they have in years past. And the onus is on us to ask a lot of questions of their back line and the way they want to defend. So hopefully, like you said, we can get ahead of the score line and now manage the game from that perspective, which I think we've done a pretty good job of. So it'll be a good test for us. Again, a relatively young group that will be out there, but again, with the young group that we started in Colorado, I've seen a lot of growth and experience gained from these matches.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Minnesota actually has a better road record than a home record, which is very rare, but they only have 8 points in their 6 home games. And they've taken 13 on the road in 8 road games. So that's crazy. They have a history of defending RSL very well, both in the playoffs when you met and in the regular season. Are they playing the same way? Because tactically they were doing stuff that seemed pretty hard for you to break down. Obviously, you've changed your formation. I wonder how much they've changed over time.
Yeah, so they've had a lot of change really to the philosophy as to the way they want to play, where in years past, I think they were really comfortable letting the other team have the ball and really breaking out from transition and scoring goals. So they were real solid defensively, and that's what allowed them to win games 1-0, these really tight games. And once once teams committed a lot of numbers and they scored the goal, then it was very, very difficult to break them down. Where this year, I feel like they have their front three are really, really good players. And in order to make them go, you're going to have to keep the ball. And so they've been more aggressive defensively and offensively. And so it lends itself to space and opportunities. But again, they have the firepower to score with possession as well. So, but I think, big picture perspective, they've changed quite a bit in the way they want to attack the game. And so it should be a different look, Minnesota. And we're a different team this year as well. So it should be a great matchup.
If you win, that would be 28 points from 14 games going into this big World Cup break. Pablo, there aren't many teams in Major League Soccer that go through a season averaging 2 points a game. And as you pointed out, the schedule is going to get so congested, you may not be able to do it either. But would there, given the fact you have 7 weeks, you're the king of looking ahead to the next game almost immediately. Would you take just a brief little window and have a sense of satisfaction, since you have a 7-week break, over how this first portion of the season has gone, if you do indeed arrive there with 28 points in 14 games?
Oh, absolutely, DJ. I think we talked about internally after last year, where we got off to a rough start, the importance of getting off to a good start this year. And obviously with a lot of new players coming in, you don't know how long it's going to take to gel. But really, since day one in preseason, the mentality of the group was really clear that we were going to be a competitive force in the West. And so, I think if we can finish that way, it would definitely lend itself to a much more enjoyable 6-7 weeks off, and obviously 3 weeks, and then we get back into camp. But I think it leaves everyone with a great taste in their mouth. And also for the player, from a playing perspective, it's that motivation to make sure that you're doing the work in these next 3 weeks. Even though, we want them to get time away, we also want them to maintain a certain standard of fitness so that we're not starting from scratch when we get back. And I think a win at the weekend would definitely help that.
You have players who are literally from all over the world. You got guys from South America. You got guys from Europe. Hey, you got a guy from Irvine. So, some guys have to go further than other here. I assume they'll scatter. Do you worry about their ability to get back? Visas and immigration, sometimes it's tricky. And when they're gone for 3 weeks, their ability to maintain conditioning. It's not an off season, but it kind of is. And some of these guys are going a long way away with a lot of travel.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think, the visa situation is handled with guys in our front office and our team admin who do a really good job. And they keep their finger on the pulse as far as which countries will be more difficult. So those players will obviously be closely watched from that perspective. And then as far as the staying fit piece, our fitness performance crew, who do a fantastic job as well, are sending the guys away with a packet, and they'll just upload their workouts so that we have a good understanding as to what they've been doing. So like I said, I think the most important thing is making sure that we get off on we leave this part of the season on the right foot so that the motivation is there. Oftentimes, you don't win the game and it's like, poor me, and I want to take a break, and it's because we've been working so hard, and all these different things. But you win the game, and it's amazing how the mindset shifts 1 degree and goes, I'm going to stay fit. I'm going to be ready to go.
You've been asked this question before. I've heard you asked multiple times, and you've always said you don't know. And I just wonder, as we get closer, if you start to have an idea, even if you can't say anything, which I wouldn't like, but I would get it. Do you have any idea about Gozo and Luna to the World Cup? Have you heard anything at all from the national team staff?
No, they've DJ, and it's been obviously we've been in contact with our medical staff. Has been in contact with their medical staff in regards to Luna's situation. A tight hamstring, but as far as getting anything out of them, it's so tight-lipped. It's unbelievable. They've done a fantastic job of keeping their cards close to the vest. We have zero idea. There's talks that they might let the players know before the weekend. That hasn't been solidified. So, there's a good chance that we'll all find out when everyone else finds out. What are you going to do with yourself in this time off? Arizona, Colorado, Utah's backcountry? Yeah, both. We're going back to Colorado, spend some time with the family, and the kids are back from summer break, so that'll be a house full again, which is rare anymore once the kids move out. Yeah. So that'll be great. And then going back, and both of our families are in Arizona, so going hopefully to play some, a little bit of golf, early morning golf anyways. It's starting to get hot. So, yeah, just kind of hanging out. No big plans. My wife wanted to take a trip to Europe and go on a cruise, and it just didn't materialize. But I really enjoy just kind of hanging around the house. We do enough traveling during the season anyways, so we'll find some time to get some trips in, more local than abroad. All right. Well, enjoy a little bit of time off, and hopefully enjoy Minnesota first. Sounds great, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, Pablo. This is Pablo Mastroeni, RSL head coach, joining us right here on The Zone. It's an afternoon game, a rare afternoon game, but there it is, 2:30 at Allianz Field. You'll hear the game here on The Zone, 1:30 for the pregame show. And then the World Cup. Tight-lipped, no leaking, no word. Luna's missed the last game with a tight hamstring, so we'll see where that goes. Trying to get him ready for the World Cup. DJ PK, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're talking NBA playoffs with David Locke. And I'm going to run past that theory. Am I worried about nothing? 3 70-game seasons out of 21 for the 3 7-footers the Jazz could be running across the front line. We will get to that coming up next. David Locke joins us right here. Stay with us on The Zone.
That sound could mean a lot of things. And when something's going wrong at home, the hardest part can be figuring out what the problem actually is. At Thumbtack, you can upload a voice message or a photo, and our AI-powered search will help diagnose your project. Plus, the pros we know have over 14 million 5-star reviews, so you can hire with confidence. Thumbtack, we know homes. Hire the right pro today.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.